In our morning rounds, a major new effort to discourage children and teenagers from using e-cigarettes. This morning, the American Academy of Pediatrics called for new federal regulations, including setting a minimum age of 21 to buy the products, banning online sales and youth-targeted marketing, and stopping production of certain flavored e-cigarette products. The AAPP says, quote, the increasing use of e-cigarettes among youth threatens 5 decades of public health gains. Our Dr. Narula is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
When you look at the numbers, e-cigarette use up 78% among high school students just in the past year. Is it an epidemic?
Let me put this in perspective for you. In March, the American Academy of Pediatrics and other organizations like the American Cancer Society, the AHA, sued the FDA, saying they are not doing enough in terms of regulating e-cigarettes. They have delayed what we call pre-market approval until 2022. And it is an epidemic. The Surgeon General said that, in fact, it is. It is affecting 3.6 million youth. They are the ones that are users. About 20% of high school students, 5% of middle school students. And we know that it's not just the harms of the e-cigarettes, but it's the fact that it is a gateway to traditional cigarette use. Increases that risk.
I was surprised when the pediatrician asked my 10-year-olds if they had ever used an e-cigarette. So pediatricians are on notice. Describe the health dangers.
Right. Well, there are a lot. So let's start with just nicotine itself. We know that nicotine is extremely addictive. Whether you use it once or twice or for a couple weeks, you can become addicted. The amount of nicotine that kids are getting from these e-cigarettes may be much more than they would get from traditional cigarettes. In fact, one of these pods has as much nicotine as a whole pack of cigarettes. Nicotine has cardiovascular side effects, and it affects the adolescent brain. The brain develops until the age of 25, and nicotine has the potential to change learning, memory, impulse control. It also can affect mood disorders, increasing the risk of mood disorders, and prime the brain for risk of addiction to other substances. Now, let's talk about what else is in the e-cigarettes besides nicotine. Ultrafine particles that can be irritants or affect the lungs. The flavorings, which we think are generally recognized as safe for ingestion, may not be safe for inhalation. There are toxins, carcinogens. There's also risks of accidental ingestion of the liquid that has led to poison control calls, many of them, as well as burns and fires. I mean, the list goes on and on.
I mean, you are doing a really good job of describing how dangerous this is.
What are the effects on bystanders, like secondhand smoke from these?
There's not been a lot of study looking into that, Bianna, so we really don't know. But certainly that does linger in the air, and there could very well be effects on bystanders.
And again, the point is some of this damage to either the lungs or the brain, you can't reverse.
Right. So, we don't think so. Again, we haven't studied it long term.
What about parents of a teenager, and what can they do?
Right, so parents can do a lot. And so the AAP says, look, parents should really be screening, talking to their kids and saying, you know, are you using e-cigarettes? Have you been around them? And if they are, why? Why are you using this? And then helping to get them help if they need help. And not, importantly, punishing them, but recognizing that this is a health problem. It is an addiction. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of treatments for kids who are hooked to vaping. We don't have the same kind of treatments like we might offer adults in terms of nicotine replacement therapy, patches, et cetera, or medications. They just haven't been approved for kids.
But I think that point that you make is a really good one, explaining that the adolescent mind is developing until the age of 25. So any of the toxins, carcinogens, stimulants that you place in that brain are going to affect you for life.
But what's so unfortunate is that the marketing to kids has been so aggressive. Marketing on television, which is not allowed for traditional cigarettes. Marketing through social media, at sporting events. Some even often college scholarships to kids.
It is not a benign habit.
No.
Tara, thank you.